Imagine stepping onto a train that feels like a moving hotel. Big windows showing rolling hills, red deserts, golden fields. You sit back, sip a hot coffee, and just relax. No airport security, no traffic jams, no cramped bus rides. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, that dream exists. It's called the Overland. It's one of Australia's oldest and most iconic trains, running between Melbourne and Adelaide since 1887. Over 100 years of service, history, comfort, and a real travel experience. But here's the catch. Instead of expanding trains like the Overland, Australia is slowly letting them fade away. So, why isn't Australia investing in trains like the Overland? Let's dive in. And warning, the truth might frustrate you. The Overland used to be a big deal. First-class cabins, gourmet meals. It connected two major cities, Melbourne and Adelaide, in a smooth, stylish way. Back in the day, it was full. Families, business people, tourists, all on board. But now, it barely survives. In 2018, patronage dropped to just 17,000 passengers. That's less than some city trams carry in a week. Why? Because government stopped caring. In 2020, the Victorian government almost let it die before finally stepping in to fund it. South Australia? They pulled out completely. The train was nearly gone forever. How could a country this rich, this advanced, not support such a legendary train? Let's be honest, Australia is in love with cars. Highways are everywhere. From Perth to Brisbane, Australians drive a lot. It's part of the culture. Governments have spent billions on roads, tunnels, and bridges. The Westgate Tunnel in Melbourne? Over $10 billion. The North Connex in Sydney? Another $3 billion. But trains? Crickets. Rail projects get planned and then forgotten. The Melbourne Airport rail link has been promised since the 1960s and still isn't finished. A fast train from Sydney to Melbourne? It's been in discussion for 50 years. The Overland costs just $3 to $4 million a year to keep running. That's pocket change in government budgets. But somehow they still hesitate. Here's another issue. The Overland is run by a private company, Journey Beyond. So instead of being part of a national network, it's a business. That means profits come first. If it doesn't make enough money, it gets cut back. That's what's happening now. Fewer trips per week. Limited service, little marketing, and guess what? Fewer people know about it. So fewer tickets are sold. It's a vicious cycle. Should a historic train that serves public need be run like a business or like a public service? Now let's zoom out for a second and see what the rest of the world is doing with trains. In Japan, bullet trains race across the country at speeds of up to 320 kilometers per hour. They're lightning fast, super reliable, and carry millions of passengers every single day. They're not just a fancy luxury, they're part of everyday life. In France, the TGV changed everything. It made high-speed rail feel normal. You can travel from one end of the country to the other in just a few hours. Cities that once felt far apart are now deeply connected, thanks to trains. And then comes the real shocker. Even Morocco has a high-speed rail line that's faster than anything in Australia. Yes, Morocco, a country with far fewer resources and a smaller economy, is still ahead of us when it comes to train technology. Meanwhile, what's happening in Australia? The train from Melbourne to Adelaide, one of the most important inner-city routes in the country, averages just 85 kilometers per hour. That's slower than some cars on the highway. The entire journey takes over 10 hours, while a plane covers the same distance in just 90 minutes. So, you have to wonder, why are we so far behind? Let's talk about the world's trains and how Australia is falling behind. To really understand the problem, we have to step outside Australia for a minute. Let's start with China. In just the last 20 years, China built the largest high-speed rail network on Earth, over 40,000 kilometers. That's like circling Australia's coastline 3 times. Their trains go up to 350 kilometers per hour, and they're so smooth you can balance a coin upright while the train is moving. In 2008, they barely had high-speed trains. Now, they connect cities faster than planes. A trip from Beijing to Shanghai takes 4.5 hours on a train, the same distance as Melbourne to Adelaide, which takes over 10 hours on the Overland. Let that sink in. And it's not just China. Take a look at Spain. It's not even one of Europe's richest countries, but it has over 3,000 kilometers of high-speed rail. From Madrid to Barcelona, same as Melbourne to Sydney, you can get there by train in 2.5 hours. It's so good that most people now choose trains over planes. Then there's the United Kingdom. Sure, their rail system isn't perfect, but at least they're building. The new HS2 project aims to connect London to the north with super-fast trains. Even with delays, it shows commitment. They know trains are key to cutting carbon, linking towns, and boosting jobs. Meanwhile, in Australia, We're still arguing about whether to build a fast train from Sydney to Melbourne. It's been coming soon for over 50 years. When countries invest in trains, they connect people and economies. They reduce traffic, lower pollution, and make travel easier for everyone, not just the rich who can afford flights. In Spain, rural towns are booming again because people can work in the city and live in the countryside. In China, train stations are now centers of commerce and tourism. In the UK, the new lines will cut travel times, helping families see each other more often. Now ask yourself, why can't Australia do the same? We have the land, we have the technology, we have the money. But what we don't have is the will. Until we do, the Overland wasn't Australia's entire rail future. We'll remain stuck in the past, crawling forward while the rest of the world speeds ahead. Train travel needs long-term thinking, but Australian politics works in short-term election cycles. Roads are visible, big, flashy openings. Politicians love to cut ribbons on highways. But rail? It's underground. It takes years to build. It crosses state borders. It's messy. And worst of all, it doesn't make headlines. That's why governments keep delaying train investments. The Overland keeps surviving year to year, not decade to decade. No one wants to be the politician who funds a train that won't be finished before the next election. Here's the kicker. Trains are one of the greenest ways to travel. They emit far less carbon than planes or cars, and with climate change getting worse every year, we need clean transport options. The Overland is a perfect example. It replaces hundreds of cars every trip, yet it's constantly on the verge of being shut down. It's like watching someone throw away a reusable water bottle just to buy plastic. Why aren't we seeing trains as part of the climate solution? Why are we investing in more freeways instead? Here's the twist. People actually want better trains. Poll after poll shows Australians are open to high-speed rail. They want comfort. They want safety. They want to travel without the stress of flying or driving for hours. The Overland, even with its slow speed, has loyal fans. Seniors love it. Backpackers love it. Families love it. People take photos, share stories, and remember the ride. We're not asking for miracles. We're just asking to be treated like other modern countries. Could it be saved? Yes, a lot, but only if the government steps in. Experts say upgrading the Overland to make it faster, more frequent, and more modern could actually make it profitable. Add a high-speed line? It would cut the journey from 10 hours to 4. That's game-changing. Tourism would rise, cities would connect better, regional towns would benefit, and we'd have an alternative to flying. But for that to happen, politicians need to believe in it. They need to invest, not just save it from death, but help it thrive. The Overland isn't just a train, it's a symbol. It shows how Australia treats public transport. It shows how we prioritize cars over climate. And it shows how we're falling behind the rest of the world. This isn't just about saving one train route. It's about asking ourselves, do we want a country where trains connect us? Or one where they slowly vanish? Because right now, the Overland is still running. Barely. But if we don't speak up, if we don't care, it might not be there much longer. And once it's gone, we'll miss more than just a ride. We'll miss the chance to do things better. Would you ride the Overland if it were faster and more modern? Should Australia invest more in trains? Or keep building roads? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into Australia's future.